Jeffrey Epstein's closest friend, the last person he spoke to before his death in prison in 2019, at a time when all the elite and influential people had abandoned him. The only one who remained was this young woman from Belarus, Karyna Shuliak. According to recently released documents, she was named the largest beneficiary in his will, and the biggest portion of his wealth and properties was left to her. Because of this sensitive role, and because she was the last voice he heard before his death, the FBI's Special Investigative Unit called her in for questioning. For the first time, she agreed to give a complete statement about his final days, his fortune, and the relationship that connected her to him. Hi everyone, I'm Zara. If you liked this video, please subscribe to the channel and leave a comment so your voice can reach more people. Now, let's begin. Karyna Shuliak said, "I don't need a lawyer. I'm ready to tell the truth. I will speak exactly as everything happened, from the first day I met Jeffrey Epstein in New York to the last words he said to me before his death. And for everyone to understand the full picture, the story does not begin in prison. It began 10 years earlier. My name is Karyna Shuliak. I was born in Minsk, Belarus. I grew up in a very ordinary family. My dream was to study dentistry abroad, but we had no money, no connections, and no real opportunity. In 2010, I arrived in New York, and today I can say clearly that my coming to America was not a coincidence. I entered his life before I even turned 20. I knew he didn't allow anyone into his inner circle unless he saw a specific purpose in them. We first met at a mutual friend's apartment in Manhattan. That night, he said something I never forgot. "You are in the right place with the right person, someone who can change your life." And he did. He helped me get into Columbia University to study dentistry. He paid for everything: tuition, housing, daily expenses, even training costs. Later, he helped me obtain legal residency and eventually U.S. citizenship. But that's not the real story. The real question is, why did he do all of this? Even today, it's difficult for me to explain what he wanted from me and what we did together. But I will speak, not to justify the relationship, but to make one thing clear. He never took a single step without a reason. After 2011, he became a constant part of my life. Frequent phone calls, specific travel requests, sometimes even changing his schedule just so I could be present. The relationship wasn't only emotional, it was practical. He trusted me with matters he didn't even discuss with his own staff. Over time, I began to understand the kind of people who surrounded him and how he treated them based on what he knew about them. Between 2014 and 2018, it became clear that a large part of his life was hidden from the public, and powerful individuals were connected to him in ways they never wanted documented. In 2012, he asked me for the first time to accompany him to the Virgin Islands, now known as Epstein's Island. It wasn't a romantic invitation, it was a test. There, I saw his real world, not the houses, planes, or staff, but the people who came and went without records, conversations that stopped the moment someone entered the room. What happened there is difficult to describe in words. What has been revealed publicly so far is only a small fraction of the truth. Guests came from all over the world: Americans, Europeans, Russians, Latin Americans, Africans, people from the Far East, Arabs, and Indians. They were not connected by language or nationality, but something much deeper. What's shocking is that many of them later rose to powerful positions. At night, the island turned into a completely different world. I was the youngest, the weakest, and the most alone. I had to smile when I felt like breaking inside. I lived in fear every single day. I was trapped among people 100 times more powerful than me. I endured because I didn't have the option to refuse. There were also children on the island. They appeared at certain times with certain individuals and then disappeared for hours. One young girl in particular remains in my memory, fear in her eyes, even afraid of a simple smile. On one occasion, I saw a severely disabled man in a wheelchair. She was referring to Stephen Hawking, who was a very famous British scientist, a theoretical physicist and cosmologist, yet he was treated as the most important guest. That's when I realized this place wasn't about entertainment. It was a center, a meeting point for people who could never be seen together publicly. Even before his arrest, Epstein did not change. He was receiving warnings, yet he remained calm, as if he possessed something no one else did. He believed he had evidence involving powerful figures from the US, Saudi Arabia, and other countries. He thought that even if he died, they would never escape. After his arrest, he requested to speak only to me. During our final phone call, he said, "I'm not afraid of prison. The real fear is the people outside." He implied that if he spoke, many would fall, and if he fell, he would take them down with him. A few hours later, his death was announced. To this day, I do not believe the official story. The man I spoke to in that final phone call did not sound like someone preparing to take his own life. He sounded like someone who knew his fate had already been decided. In the end, one question remains. Why me? I believe he did not name me as his heir because I was not part of that powerful network, and my name alone was enough to prevent those involved from accessing what they believed belonged to them. Today, my life is simple. I do not live in a mansion. I do not own a private jet. I do not have millions of dollars. All I am left with is one question. Why me? And what was he trying to stop after his death? Thank you for watching this video, and thank you for subscribing to my channel.